NASCAR has a new title sponsor for their second tier series. Let's talk about the 2026 schedule. It should be out next week, and it sounds like we're getting some date changes. Plus, it was Heim Time once again on Friday night in the Truck Series. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. Hopefully this is better than the Fox broadcast on Friday night, and if it's not, then I'll probably just quit doing this altogether because boy, was that bad.
Wow.
Dawson Sutton, I hear got into the wall.
Hard.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to start off, though, with some big news for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They will have a new title sponsor in 2026. Instead of drivers saying that their car is as fast as Xfinity Mobile or as fast as Xfinity Internet, they'll be singing the O'Reilly jingle, O'Reilly Auto Parts, because O'Reilly is expected to become the title sponsor of NASCAR's second tier series on a multi-year deal. That according to Adam Stern from the Sports Business Journal. And I think it's a good thing, right? It is another B2C company. It's a place where consumers can go put their money, be like, hey, you support what I like. I'm going to, in return, give you my money because, well, again, you're funding what I enjoy watching here. And out of all the big national chain part stores, I think O'Reilly probably does the best job, at least in my experience. It's better than AutoZone for sure, better than Advance. So all around, I actually kind of like going to O'Reilly when I need to. Rock Auto still got the best prices out there. Sometimes their shipping just is, one, expensive, and two, takes a little bit of time, but sometimes the savings are just too good over there. For NASCAR, though, this is a great land for them. It's a sponsor. It's a new-ish sponsor. Obviously, we've seen O'Reilly do some contingency sponsors, some associate sponsorship stuff around NASCAR, but nothing ever to this scale. So great for them, for sure. On the other side, Xfinity has been a sponsor of the second tier series since 2015, 11 years at the helm there. They were supposed to exit after last season. They decided to stay on for another year and basically as a make good, as a, good faith thing, allow NASCAR to find a sponsor, not leave them high and dry. Obviously, with the move to the CW, Comcast, Xfinity, and that's not part of the Comcast family, so they, of course, didn't want to be a part of it, which I completely understand there. So NASCAR's gone out and they found a new sponsor, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we'll see sort of what that looks like next year in terms of activation and everything like that, what drivers are going to be saying. Is there going to be an incentive program as well? But regardless, I mocked up the logo, as you guys saw a minute ago. I think that having some green and red mixed in is nice. It's Christmas colors. It makes everybody feel good about it. But regardless, this is great. Now, what is the name of it? Is it going to be the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series? Like, NOAPS just doesn't really roll off the tongue that well. Or whatever they want to call it, will be the NASCAR Grand National Series presented by O'Reilly. As a person that's into branding and marketing, that doesn't do much for me. To have your name at the tail end of it, it does feel more like the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will probably just make more sense with the NASCAR O'Reilly Series going forward. But all that push to get Busch Beer to come back and be the title sponsor, make it the Busch Series again, all for naught. Couldn't resurrect it, couldn't roll the stone out of the way, couldn't bring them back, although it's been longer than 3 days. Unfortunate for sure, because I think everybody kind of wanted to see that. Although Busch, of course, is a premier partner in NASCAR, Xfinity will remain on as a premier partner for the NASCAR Cup Series. They are just exiting as the title sponsor of the Xfinity Series. So the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will be coming to a screen on the CW near you February of 2026. All right, let's talk about the NASCAR 2026 schedule, because apparently NASCAR would like to have the schedule released sometime next week. And unlike the NFL, there's not going to be some sort of TV extravaganza around it. And we know a little bit about the schedule already, right? We know we're going to San Diego. We know we're not going back to Chicago Street Course. We know we're not going to Mexico at this point. And the question now is like, hey, where is everything else going to play in at? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Dover possibly getting the All-Star race, North Wilkesboro getting a points-paying date, and Kelly Crandall from Racer.com put together all the things that she'd been hearing into an article on Friday, and there's a couple different things in there. Expect the first 5 races of the season to remain the same as they were in 2025. Daytona, Atlanta, COTA, Phoenix, Las Vegas. That appears to be what it's going to be going into 2026 as well. So you're going to start off with back-to-back drafting races again, move down to COTA for the first road course race, and then play it out from there. It does appear that Richmond's date, which is in August of this year, obviously on this weekend, will instead move to May in 2026. Darlington's spring date will move up to March. And also appears for all the people that wanting Sonoma to be raced when the grass is green, It's not going to happen for you, unfortunately. It will be the weekend after the race at San Diego. So once again, NASCAR will be going to back-to-back road course races, and I'm sure the fan base will absolutely receive that with open arms. No negativity. They will not be mad about that at all. They're going to welcome it like a Miss Fields cookie being slid across the table to them. Oh, this is wonderful. This is great. Thank you so much. No, they're actually probably going to hate it overall. It also appears that Chicagoland Speedway will be taking the place of the Chicago Street Course on 4th of July weekend. I think that's a bit of an interesting choice for sure, but when you look at it from a TV partner standpoint, rather, it does make sense. I had talked about wanting to put Atlanta there. It really just doesn't make sense to put Atlanta there, in all honesty, so that won't be happening. For the rest of the schedule, it appears that New Hampshire will be moving out of the playoffs. Thankfully, I don't think anybody wanted to see New Hampshire in the playoffs. No offense to New Hampshire, but with this car, it hasn't been great. With the old car, it wasn't exactly spectacular either. Then, of course, there's the possibility of All-Star race moving to Dover. People are really mad about that. North Wilkesboro getting a points-paying date. And then we're not going back to Mexico either. There's also, Kelly Crandall talked about the possibility of Iowa not returning to the schedule, and something I talked about on here as well. And I need people to understand, just because you put a deposit down does not mean that the race is coming back. It's the same way, like if you go to pre-order something and they cancel the release, or you funded something on Kickstarter, whatever like that, there's no promise that it's actually going to happen as of yet. They still haven't announced that, the race will be back. And like I said before, Iowa is an expendable date for NASCAR. It only seats 30,000 people. There are other facilities out there that will seat more, possibly in bigger markets, and NASCAR is going to explore those. And if they need to cut one, Iowa's probably going to be the one that gets cut there. But we'll see if it comes onto the schedule next year. No mention of Rockingham for the Cup Series. I know people want to have that happen. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Again, it needs to be an ISC or SMI date basically at this point for that to happen. But everything else kind of, expected to remain the same. Maybe some dates shifting around here and there. Will be interesting to see what track SMI wants to put into the playoffs in place of New Hampshire. Could they possibly put a place like Nashville in? Obviously, that's a big market. Putting it into the playoffs would certainly be interesting. Does Atlanta find its way into the playoffs? I'm not sure that anybody wants 2 super speedway races in the playoffs, but I guess crazier things have happened, and who knows? Maybe we'll leave the Roval next year and go back to the Oval as well. You guys are going to be absolutely shocked, stunned, flabbergasted even to learn that it was once again Heim Time on Friday night in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Richmond, the final race of the regular season, the playoff cutoff race for the Truck Series. It was Heim going to victory lane for the 7th time this year. That's 2 hands now that you're going to have to start using, which is crazy because he probably should have maybe 12, 13 wins at this point. He's had some bad luck, some bad, runs to end these races, getting taken out by some people as well. But yeah, Heim has been the absolute force of the Truck Series this year. But he wasn't the dominant truck on Friday night. That would instead belong to Ty Majeski, who once again at a short track absolutely went out there and flexed his muscle, slapped it down on the table and was like, "Come catch me." And Matt Crafton said, "Bet on new tires," trying to unlap himself. Wrecks his teammate. Just absolutely went in the corner, hit some oil, skated. Skating season's not for a couple of months. Didn't matter. The 88 was on absolute skates Friday night. Took out Ty Majeski. Unfortunate there. Majeski had such a good lead, though, that he blended back in under caution in second place, but his truck just never raced the same after that. A restart saw Sammy Smith, Corey Heim, even Corey LaJoie getting in the mix as well. And ultimately, it was Corey Heim coming out on top. Majeski instead had to settle for a second place finish. And then you had Lane Riggs coming home in 3rd, Sammy Smith 4th, and Corey LaJoie rounding out your top 5. LaJoie in 2 truck races so far this year has top 5 finishes. I wouldn't be shocked to see Corey LaJoie win a Truck Series race this year, and hopefully he does. Maybe make some people quiet, but also give himself a little bit of confidence as well. One other thing I want to note. Frankie Muniz maybe didn't finish better than Tony Breidinger. Ran into some mechanical issues, finished 32nd after starting 28th. Tony Breidinger managed to finish 24th after starting 30th, rather. My apologies. 3 laps down. That 33 truck was outrunning Breidinger by a good margin on Friday night. And those 2 trucks, those 2 teams, that equipment, those are not even in the same ballpark for the most part. Breidinger has this great marketing ability. She has a great social presence. She's a great influencer in terms of that. She brings a lot of sponsors to the sport. Dave & Buster's, 818 Tequila. She brought Coach earlier this year. She does really good for her sponsors. At some point, though, you would want the performance to follow. Now, I get it. All of these sponsorship deals are based basically brand deals that she's done, for herself and for her, social media following. And then in return, they also sponsor the race truck at times as well. But man, was she just not impressive at all, which is disappointing for sure. Other note, real quick, Caden Honeycutt, his first race in that 52 truck, replacing Stuart Friesen for the remainder of the year, finished in P10. Good run for him. Started 11th, finished 10th. Brent Cruz, kind of expected him to have a better day than he did, 16th. That one truck just always seems to struggle just a little bit out there. Bailey Curry, who will finish off the season in that 45 truck, replacing Caden Honeycutt, my apologies, finished 20th. And then Andres Perez in his first race with Nice in that 44 truck finished 21st. Truck Series back in action on Friday. What are they? Friday night? Saturday? In the at Darlington next weekend. I want to look at the points real quick here because I know the playoff standings are going to be obviously reset now for the Truck Series as we head into Darlington next weekend. Corey Heim is plus 62 points over the playoff cutoff line right now. He can coast his way to Phoenix at this point, just needs to run mediocre. He's got so many points. Lane Riggs plus 23. Getting all the way down, Raja Caruth, Grant Enfinger plus 4, plus 2 for Caruth. Caden Honeycutt minus 2, and Jake Garcia, who got that last spot after Stuart Friesen took himself out of the playoffs, 3 points below the cutoff. So things could get absolutely interesting next weekend in Darlington. Once again, though, I think Corey Heim has to be your favorite to win once again. So let me know in the comments what you thought about O'Reilly coming in to sponsor NASCAR's second tier series, the 2026 schedule stuff we talked about, and the Truck Series race on Friday night. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BreakHardBlog.